The crystalline halls of the Zephyron Palace echoed with the screams of the dying. Queen Velshara, ruler of the galactic dominion, sat upon her throne of obsidian and starlight, watching with cold, multifaceted eyes as her guards dragged away the latest failure, a Krillian servant who had dared to serve her morning nectar at 43.2 degrees instead of the required 43.5. Death was the only acceptable response to imperfection. For 300 cycles, no servant had lasted more than a solar week in her service. The Queen's reputation preceded her across 17 star systems. She was beauty incarnate, with skin that shimmered like mercury and a voice that could shatter diamonds. She was also the most feared tyrant in known space. Marcus Webb didn't know any of this when he stepped off the transport shuttle. He was a janitor from Detroit, pulled from Earth as part of the labor conscription program. At 42 years old, with graying temples and calloused hands, Marcus had spent 20 years cleaning office buildings on Earth. The promise of intergalactic employment opportunities had sounded better than another winter scrubbing toilets in the Renaissance Center. They gave him a mop, a bucket, and a translator chip embedded behind his ear. They didn't tell him he was walking into a death sentence. "Human," the head steward, a serpentine Vexilon named Searoth, hissed at him on his first day. "You will clean the Queen's private chambers. You will not speak. You will not look at her. You will not breathe loudly. Imperfection is death." Marcus nodded, gripping his mop. "Got it. Don't mess up." 17 servants before you," Searoth continued, his forked tongue flickering. "All dead. One spilled water, one sneezed, one's uniform had a wrinkle. She does not tolerate mistakes." "Sounds like a real piece of work," Marcus muttered. Searoth's eyes widened. "You dare!" "Relax," Marcus said, hoisting his bucket. "Where's her room?" The Queen's chambers sprawled across the entire western wing of the palace. Floors of polished moonstone, walls that displayed the cosmos in real time, furniture that defied gravity. Marcus whistled low as he entered, then caught himself. Right, no sounds. He began cleaning methodically, the way he'd cleaned 1,000 rooms before. Corners first, work your way out, never miss the baseboards. His mop swished quietly across the floor. "You!" The voice hit him like a physical force. Marcus turned to see Queen Velshara standing in the doorway, 7 feet tall, radiating an otherworldly presence that made his knees want to buckle. "Yes, ma'am," Marcus said. Her eyes flared. "You speak?" "You spoke first," Marcus replied, then immediately regretted it. Silence stretched between them like a taut wire. The Queen's hand moved to the neural disruptor at her belt, a weapon that could liquefy his internal organs with a single pulse. "You are not afraid," she said slowly. "Oh, I'm terrified," Marcus admitted, leaning on his mop. "But I've been afraid before. Afraid of losing my house, afraid of my daughter's hospital bills, afraid of dying alone in a basement apartment. Fear's just another thing you work through. I could kill you where you stand." "Yeah, I heard you're real good at that." Her hand tightened on the weapon. "Explain yourself, human." Marcus shrugged. "Look, Your Majesty, I'm just a janitor. I'm here to clean your floors, not kiss your feet. You want to kill me for that? Go ahead. But it seems like a waste of a perfectly good janitor. We're hard to find." No one had spoken to Velshara like this in 3 centuries. She stared at him, her crystalline features unreadable. Then, slowly, her hand left the weapon. "Continue your work," she said quietly, and swept from the room. Marcus exhaled the breath he'd been holding and went back to mopping. The next day, he returned to find her waiting for him. "You came back," she observed. "It's my job." "You are either brave or stupid." "Little bit of both, probably," Marcus said, filling his bucket. "Mind if I ask you something?" The Queen's posture shifted, a gesture that would have preceded execution for any other being. "Speak! Why do you kill everyone?" The question hung in the air between them. "Because they fail," she said finally. "Everyone fails sometimes," Marcus replied, starting on the windows. "I've failed plenty. Failed my marriage. Failed to be there when my kid needed me. Failure's part of being alive. I am Queen of the Zifferon Empire. I do not fail. No, you just kill everyone around you until you're alone." Marcus glanced at her. "That's not strength, Your Majesty. That's just lonely." He should have died for those words. Instead, Queen Velshara was silent for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was softer than moonlight. "What was your daughter's name?" "Sarah. She died 5 years ago. Leukemia." "You could not save her." "No, but I was there. Held her hand. That's all I could do, and I did it." Marcus wrung out his mop. Sometimes being there is enough. Something shifted in the Queen's expression, a crack in the armor of 300 years. "I had a daughter once," she whispered, "before I became this." Marcus stopped cleaning and looked at her, really looked at her. Behind the crystalline beauty and the terrible power, he saw something he recognized. Grief turned to rage, turned to isolation. "What happened?" he asked gently. "She died because I was not perfect enough to save her. So I swore I would never fail again, that everything around me would be perfect, or it would be nothing." "But you're still failing," Marcus said. "You're failing at the one thing that matters, being human, or whatever your species is, being alive. I am a queen. You're alone." The words echoed in the vast chamber. Queen Velshara looked at the human janitor with his simple mop and his simple truth. And for the first time in 3 centuries, she wept, crystalline tears that fell like diamonds on the polished floor. Marcus did what he did best. He cleaned up the tears, quiet and steady, giving her space to break. "You may stay," she said finally. "I appreciate that, ma'am." "And human? Marcus?" "Yeah, thank you." Marcus Webb became the longest-serving member of the Queen's household. Not because he was perfect, but because he was honest. He taught her that broken things could still be beautiful, that failure wasn't fatal, and that sometimes the bravest thing you could do was just show up with a mop and tell the truth. The executions stopped. The palace began to fill with life again. Imperfect, messy, beautiful life. And in the quiet moments, when Marcus cleaned the floors and the Queen watched the stars, they both found something they thought they'd lost forever. A reason to keep going.